just thought I'd come on and make a real quick video about reading and books, because basically I don't have anything else to upload and we're stuck on this kind of one upload a day sort of thing. But from tomorrow we're going back to the regular programming of cold showers, no fat videos. Yeah, so I cut my hand the other day, and this is proper over dramatic, but basically I've got a big gash just going along here because I cut it on the glass and I can't really move my hand past like that point. So we wrapped it up and that's that. So anyway, let's get into the books, and the first one is The Great Rat Race Escape. And before we start, I just want to say a little thing about the whole changed your life thing. So there's a lot of YouTube videos about that, like books that changed my life, and it's kind of a trope by now, and I'm sure you're watching this video like, fucking what's he gonna say then this time? But it is sort of true. So maybe not the first book, but the next 4 after that definitely did change the path of my life. Like, they genuinely changed the course that my life took. I read them at quite a young age, and they shifted my perception on a lot of things. So if you're about, like, I don't know, 16, 17, 18, watching this video, then it might be for you. Now, the first one didn't necessarily change my life, and I say that not because it's a bad book, but because really I already knew, oh, I'm so clever. But no, like, I already was kind of thinking the things that the book was saying before it said it. So The Great Rat Race Escape, what is it? It's a book about the rat race. It's a book about the jobs that we all work, the 9 to 5s that we're all stuck in. And essentially how to get out of that, how to create your own business, how to become an entrepreneur, how to do those things. And before I read it, I was kind of already in the mindset of, yeah, I sort of want to do those things. Like, I was looking around at the other jobs that existed, and I was like, fuck, I don't really know, man. So, like, for example, I have a law degree, right? Believe it or not, yeah. So I actually just finished university and I studied law. And I was sort of thinking at the end of it, do I really want to go into any of these jobs? I was looking around at corporate law jobs, criminal law jobs, 9 to 5s basically. Longer than that even, 5 to fucking 9s, bro. But I was like, do I really want to be doing those jobs? And basically I decided, no. I kind of want to do something that actually makes me happy, something that's actually purposeful and I feel like is actually having some sort of impact. So now I've decided to start doing this, to make YouTube videos, to study psychology on the side. Next year I'm going to go back to university, get a psychology conversion degree. And I know people chat a lot of shit about university, especially in this sphere, but there is a genuine importance to some sort of formal education if you want to do certain topics and certain things. For example, the videos that I make right now, they're very similar to the videos that a lot of other self-improvement YouTubers make, and that's because none of us are experts in what we're talking about. A lot of us have these ideas that come from basically bro science and something someone said like 5-10 years ago, but no one actually backs that shit up, bro. Like the fucking NoFap increases testosterone after 7 days study, all the benefits of cold exposure, all the benefits of meditation. None of these fuckers actually know anything though. They don't know actually what they're talking about. So I thought I'd go back to university and actually learn these things properly and develop some sort of actual base knowledge of the shit I'm talking about, so I can actually help you guys properly from like a psychological point of view. But anyway, back to the book. It taught me kind of that. It taught me that I had to live a life on my own 2 feet if I was going to get anywhere. And for a lot of people it genuinely could change your life. If you don't have that mindset already, then this book definitely will try and instill that mindset in you. It will teach you how to kind of start a business, what sort of things to look for when you're starting a business. So it's quite good in that way. But anyway, let's get into the books that actually changed my life. And the first one is The Guide to the Good Life by William Irvine. And it was basically young little Tom's first introduction to Stoicism. So I think I read it when I was maybe 14 or 15. And I kind of read it really deeply and got proper into this book. So it's a book about Stoicism, and it starts off with the history of Stoicism, but then it basically goes into practical applications of Stoic practices, which is why I quite like it, because a lot of the improvement books I'd read up to that point were quite ephemeral. They were talking about like, oh, like these are the ideas behind Stoicism. At that age though, I didn't really care what the ideas behind Stoicism were. What I wanted to know were practical applications of it. What could I do in my life that would make me more Stoic? And it told me that. It told me to do negative visualization, to practice the dichotomy of control, to practice self-denial. And I followed those things religiously. I'd sleep on the floor. I'd eat like plain bowls of rice with like a little pinch of salt and nothing else. I'd go through whole days where I'd have like proper dopamine fasts, where I'd literally just sit in my room with nothing. I followed that book to a T, and it taught me emotional control that's lasted to this day. And now when I go through stressful situations, I can deal with those emotions much better. I can look at them from a rational point of view rather than being consumed by the emotional aspects of them. And for that, the book did very much so change my life, but more so it just kind of broadened my horizons, if that makes any sense. It opened me up to the field of philosophy because it taught me that things didn't have to be the way that they were. I didn't have to accept the fact that I felt a bit shit, and I could actually change things through practices like philosophy. Speaking of philosophy, the next book actually I read before The Guide to the Good Life, so it's kind of weird chronology here, but it was The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer, I believe. And that was the book that started off my spiritual journey. And I'm going to, little spoiler here, book 4 is the 3 Pillars of Zen. And that came after The Untethered Soul, and it's more of like a how-to. 3 Pillars of Zen is how to meditate, but The Untethered Soul was the thing that taught me that I really wanted to become a spiritual person. Fucking hell, this is annoying, isn't it? But anyway, what is the book about? So the book is about like your inner voice, basically. It's about the voice that everyone has inside of their heads, that kind of voice of self-doubt, of self-denial, the thing that's telling you that you can't do things. And specifically it's about how to control that voice. And the book is a bit ephemeral, so it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the Guide to the Good Life, is there's not many like practices that it teaches you outright, but the big practice basically is meditation. What the book teaches you to do, or teaches you that you should be doing, is meditating. And how to meditate is another thing. We've made videos on it before. Like I say, the 3 Pillars of Zen speaks about it more literally. But yeah, it taught me that I should be meditating. It taught me the importance of a meditation habit for controlling my mind. Now I've learned there's many more benefits of meditation. Again, go watch the video. But back then that's what it taught me. It taught me that effectively I should be meditating every day just to control my emotions and to control that voice inside of my head. It lays it out in a very relatable and practical way. He's also got another book called The Surrender Experiment, which is basically where he sort of just went through his life saying yes to everything, and it's more of an autobiography, which is also a very interesting book. But yeah, The Untethered Soul is great. And like I say, The 3 Pillars of Zen, it's not a similar book by any means. It's like it was written in like the fucking 1800s. It's some guy, like some old professor, goes to a monastery in India or some shit. I don't know exactly where. But he goes to this monastery and he watches the monks and he learns directly from them how to meditate, and basically he writes a book on meditation. That's basically just the long and short of it. And he goes into like very granular detail of like exactly how to sit, what to do with your fucking eyes, all this shit, like exactly how to do it. It's like a manual of meditation. I don't know what the 3 pillars were, I can't remember that, but it taught me the basics of how to actually start meditating. Because I feel like there's a lot of that in meditation. It's like, okay, so I know I have to meditate, but how do I do it? Because like with a cold shower, I can tell you to take a cold shower and you know, just like, you know what I mean. But with meditation, it's more like, how the fuck do I do that then, bro? And again, we made a video on it, bro. Go watch that. But if not, if you don't want to watch that and you want to listen to my brother instead, then the 3 Pillars of Zen is a great place to go and read that. Great place to start. And then finally, the last book on my list, and honestly the book that changed my life the most, the book I have the most kind of empathy for, and the book I go back to so much, is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. And it's a fiction book, and it's the only fiction book on this list. And that's not because it's the only fiction book I read. Fiction, by the way, I will just say that, and if you've made it this far into the video, here's my little extra tidbit of advice for you guys who made it. Go and read some fiction. Fiction is so important for you. It's probably more important than the self-development books that you read, because one fiction book, like On the Road, can have more of an impact on your life than any self-improvement book you've ever read. And this book had that impact. It's a book about 2 guys who travel across America backwards and forwards. And it sounds quite boring, and it is. Disclaimer, there's racism, sexism, homophobia. It's a book written in the 1950s. You have to expect these kinds of things, but you can sort of detach it because of the age of the book. And if you can distill the core values of the book, it's a book about youth. It's a book about that youthful spirit that's kind of travelling and searching. It's about man's search for meaning, essentially, their search for it. And the 2 characters throughout the whole book are looking for it, the meaning of life. And they try and find it through various practices. And this started a journey with me, a literary journey, where I went on to Allen Ginsberg and more books by Kerouac and William Burroughs. All these writers, they're called the Beat Generation. They're a group of writers who basically were so disincentivized by life in modern America that they started experimenting basically with drugs and dissociative techniques to kind of stop the boredom of it all. And this manifested in various ways, but what it essentially taught me all those years ago was that I shouldn't settle for the status quo again. Kind of like it's what began the whole Great Rat Race Escape kind of thing, but from a more philosophical point of view. It taught me that what I really wanted to do was to be free, to kind of experience life to the fullest. And as I've grown up, that notion of freedom has changed. But the core message is still there, it's still the same, that it's so important for a man and for a woman to have a youthful spirit, to believe that they want things out of life that are more than just a job and work and money. Because really at the end of the day, what are you going to do with that money that you've stacked, with that money that you've saved, if not get experiences with it? And it was a magical book for those reasons. And every time I get in my kind of moods of, oh, I feel a bit shit, if they're prolonged moods, I'll go back to that book and it'll instantly elevate me from that. It's a book that transcends your life, that kind of sets the tone for the rest of your days. It's a fantastic read and I definitely recommend it. So anyway, that was a bit more of a chilled out video, but I hope you still gained some value from it. And if you did, you know what to do, bro. Drop a subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment, tell me if you've read any of those books, tell me your own favourite books to read. And like I say, tomorrow we're back to the standard programming of a little cold exposure video, some no-fap content coming out over the next week or so. What else have I got? I don't know, it's on here somewhere. Masturbation. I think there's a theme with my channel, you know. Okay, here we go, another one. That's a new video. Things killing your energy. We have 8 things that kill your energy. So that's a little glimpse into the week ahead. But anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, brother. Manifest excellence. I am so proud of you. Goodbye.